All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. It's that time of the week, folks. My weekly picks in the world of the National Football League. Now, of course, we had three games this past Thursday on Turkey Day. I went 1-2 with my picks as the two games that I lost, they were very close as the Chicago Bears were able to fend off the Detroit Lions, while the Las Vegas Raiders went on the road and got the best of the Dallas Cowboys. But then we saw in prime time the Buffalo Bills really get the best of the New Orleans Saints as they dominated them. Now, with that said, we have some tremendous games on tap for tomorrow, as well as a Monday night affair. And with that said, here are my picks for week number 12 in the NFL season. Now, a big one in the AFC North is you're going to have the 5-4-1 Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to take on the 6-4 Cincinnati Bengals. Both of these teams cannot afford to get lost in the shuffle in what is arguably the best division in football this year. We know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are dealing with some injuries, but I do expect them to try to get back on track defensively as that's their bread and butter. On the flip side for the young Bengals, to me, I think that Cincinnati just came into the season playing with house money because they wanted to see what they had really with Joe Burrow. And I say that from the standpoint that he got hurt last year during the season, but now Joe Burrow is putting it all together, and Joe Burrow is showing that he can be a franchise quarterback. So it's the young guard in the division going up against the old guard in the division. I'm talking about Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback. So it's kind of like, old lion against young lion. But with that said, I think this is going to be a physical, paint swapping, typical AFC North, old school AFC Central type meeting. And I want to see which team is going to be more desperate. And I'm going to roll with Pittsburgh in this one by the score of 24-20. Now you're going to have the 7-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to take on the 6-5 Indianapolis Colts. Now Tampa comes into this game favored by 3 points, but definitely what they have to do defensively, they got to find a way to slow down Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. We saw Taylor light up the Buffalo Bills last week to the tune of 5 touchdowns. So this Bucks defense, which has struggled throughout the season, they got to find a way to get back on track and slow down Mr. Taylor. But also this Colts defense, they're fast and they like to fly around the football. So will they be able to make life tough for Bucks quarterback Tom Brady? We'll have to wait and see. I think this is going to be a back and forth affair throughout. The last team that possesses the football will win, and I'm going to roll with Tampa Bay in this one by the score of 34-30. Now you're going to have the 5-6 Carolina Panthers traveling to take on the 4-7 Miami Dolphins. And don't look now, but Miami has won their last 3 games, and they're starting to get some confidence with themselves. Carolina, they've been a Jekyll and Hyde team. They rallied around Cam Newton in his return a couple weeks ago against the Arizona Cardinals, and then they struggled last week at home versus the Washington football team. So I want to see which team is going to have the sense of urgency, which team is going to go out there and seize the moment, and which team is going to execute their game plan best. I'm going to stick with Miami at home in this one. I'm going to take the Dolphins by the score of 28-24. Now, a big one in the AFC as you're going to have the 8-3 Tennessee Titans traveling to Foxborough to take on the 7-4 New England Patriots. And this game right here has first place on the line in the AFC. And for the Titans, they lost a shocker last week at home to the lowly Houston Texans. And now they got to deal with the Patriots. And I know that the Titans have a slew of injuries, most notably at the running back position. And you look at the way that the Patriots have been playing defensively and how their defense has been progressing as the season has gone along. I think that quarterback Ryan Tannehill could be in for a long afternoon versus this Titans defense. Mike Vrabel, the Titans defensive coordinator, would likes to cook up things, and I could see him taking a page out of his former head coach and Bill Belichick, excuse me, and trying to confuse Patriots rookie quarterback Mac Jones. But I think what New England's going to do, they're going to rely on their running game in this one. They're going to rely on field position. They're going to rely on special teams, and they're also going to rely on the defense. And I think all phases of the game will click for New England. I'm going to take the Patriots at home tomorrow by the score of 30-17. Now at the Meadowlands, you're going to have the 3-7 New York Football Giants hosting the 5-6 Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is coming into this game with some momentum. They got their first home win of the season last year. And more importantly, Philly is 4-2 on the road so far this season. The Giants offense has struggled forever. For I'm not going to say forever, but it's been a while. And we saw them only score 10 points last week, really only three, because the one touchdown that they got was set up by a turnover, and they were basically knocking on the end zone door. Of course, Jason Garrett has been relieved of his duties as the Giants offensive coordinator, and you have to wonder if that's going to light a fire under this team. We'll have to wait and see. Hatfields and McCoys when you think about the Eagles and Giants, but right now, two different teams going in two different directions. And I'm going to take Philly on the road by the score of 31-19. Now you're going to have the 4-6 Atlanta Falcons traveling to take on the 2-8 Jacksonville Jaguars. And for Jacksonville, every time it seems like they show signs of life, they take a couple of steps back as they were run off the field last week at the hands of the San Francisco 49ers. For the Falcons, they've been up and down as well. And when they're clicking, they are a very dangerous team. I think Atlanta's going to look at that game film from what the San Francisco offense did to this Jacksonville defense last week. And I think they're going to try to lean on that. And I expect a solid day from quarterback Matt Ryan. And because of that, I'm going to take Atlanta on the road by the score of 31-20. Now, draft position is on the line tomorrow when the 2-8 New York Jets travel to take on the 2-8 Houston Texans. Whole lot of nothing going on for both of these teams. The Texans got a surprise win last week on the road versus the Tennessee Titans. And, if you get two wins in a row, it's a winning streak. Zach Wilson is expected to be back for the Jets at quarterback tomorrow. Won't make a difference. Whole lot of nothing going on for the Jets offense. The Texans are home, and I'm going to take them by the score of 27-17. Now you're going to have the 6-4 Los Angeles, Chargers traveling to take on the 5-5 Denver Broncos. And for these two teams, they're trying to hang around in the AFC West division picture. You look at both teams; they've been up and down this season, and this is a game right here to see which team is going to win out between these divisional foes. I look at quarterback Justin Herbert. This guy is solid, and I think the game time temperatures lean towards him having a solid game. 59 degrees in Denver, so he really doesn't have to deal with that bitter cold that we have grown accustomed to seeing rather this time of the year in the Mile High City. And I think that will be an advantage for the Chargers. So I'm going to take LA on the road by the score of 30-24. Now at Lambeau Field, you're going to have the 7-3 Los Angeles Rams traveling to take on the 8-3 Green Bay Packers. The Rams come into this game fresh off of their bye, and they're looking to get back on track. And offensively, they're hopeful that the bye week will have given veteran wide receiver Odell Beckham an opportunity to catch up with their playbook. And the same thing can be said defensively after the Rams acquired Von Miller prior to the trade deadline. Now, Green Bay comes into this game fresh off of a loss. They're looking to get back on track. And of course, they're doing it with an injured Aaron Rodgers right now who has a toe injury. But the bottom line is, it's late November. I know that the Packers are very familiar with Matt Stafford through his time with the Detroit Lions, but it's late November at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. This time of the year, I don't bet against the Pack with Aaron Rodgers, and if he's ready to go, I'm going to take Green Bay by the score of 27-24. Now you're going to have the 5-5 Minnesota Vikings traveling to take on the 5-5 San Francisco 49ers. Both of these teams have been up and down all season long, and now both teams enter this game up after the Vikings got their big win at home last week against the Packers, while the Niners appear to be turning it around. The key to this game is who's going to run the football better and which quarterback is going to protect the ball, Jimmy Garoppolo or Kirk Cousins. I want to see which team establishes the trenches on both sides of the ball, whether it be the Vikings or the 49ers. But I think this is going to be a back and forth, nip and tuck type game. But I'm going to take San Fran at home by the score of 27-20. Now, on Sunday night, you're going to have the 6-5 Cleveland Browns traveling to take on the 7-3 Baltimore Ravens. And for Baltimore, they went on the road and beat the Chicago Bears last week, in spite of the fact that Lamar Jackson didn't play. And that has to be a huge plus for this team. While for the Cleveland Browns, after being favored to win this division coming into the year, the Browns are going to have to fight, scrap, and claw, because not only has this division really stepped their game up, but also as a whole, you look at the Browns, they're dealing with a lot of things. And most importantly, Baker Mayfield is an injured quarterback. And then I've said it since last year. The key to this Browns offense is their ability to run the ball with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So if the Browns cannot run the football effectively, Baker Mayfield is going to be in for a long night versus this Ravens defense. On the flip side, this Browns defense has to find a way to slow down Lamar Jackson, who is one of the better playmakers in the NFL right now. Field position will be important. Turnovers will be important, but I'm going to take the Ravens at home by the score of 27-19. And finally, on Monday night, you're going to have the 3-7 Seattle Seahawks traveling to take on the 4-6 Washington football team. The return of Russell Wilson at quarterback has not led to victories for the Seahawks, as they are winless since Russell Wilson has returned to the lineup. On the flip side, for Washington, they're another one of those up and down teams. When you're ready to count them out, that's when Washington plays their best. You look at them, they rose to the occasion last week versus the Carolina Panthers, and they want to try to do it again on Monday night. But I think defensively, what they've got to do, they've got to put some pressure on Russell Wilson. They have to try to contain him and exploit some of the injuries that the Seahawks are dealing with. But with that said, I think the Seahawks are a very desperate team right now. And because of that, I think they're going to rally and get the 24-22 win. So, folks, those are my picks for week number 12 here in the 2021 NFL season. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.